Does Union County have the right mix of commercial to residential? I don't want to put words in your mouth, so I'm going to ask that question. Make your own, say what you want. And then if not, which side is out of proportion, and how would you go about fixing that proportion?
Hold on, miss. I've got it. They're up there.
There is absolutely a disproportionate amount of residential to commercial growth. Could you go through that one more time, all
Yes.
three? Because it's really a three-part.
Does Union County have the right mix of commercial to residential?
No.
Okay. Which side is out of proportion and, or you can answer no. And how would you go about fixing that proportion?
Well, what is out of proportion is, like I said, the amount of residential to commercial growth. I know it's already been said, and I agree with this. I think that growth is key to sustain any county. I think that we should be proud that people want to come to Union County. But I do think that there is an absolute need to make sure that the growth that occurs is done in a controlled way that does not put our citizens at risk in regards to all of the services that we need to provide. So I think that when it comes to looking at a model that is business friendly to grow from an economic standpoint, that is really where our focus needs to be. Obviously residential, we need to have that as well, but because we are so top heavy on that, I just fully support economic development to continue to sustain the needs of the county.
Well, one of the things that a lot of people aren't aware of in Union County is that we have a third phase of business out there, and it's called agricultural. Union County is the third largest ag county in the state of North Carolina. And that ag influence is a tremendous benefit. Just think about what it would be like if all those agricultural acreages were being turned into rooftops. Which would you prefer? Naturally, you'd prefer more commercial and industrial. You'd like to grow that segment, but we're has been mentioned, sort of a bedroom community of Charlotte-Mecklenburg, and so residential is growing like crazy. Now, or did grow like crazy. Understand that there's been a lot of talk about growth and building permits and all this. There was lots with sewer lines and water lines coming out of them long before I ever got elected. So those subdivisions had been already permitted in areas like Millbridge and Curitan, and all that west side over there was already permitted. In fact, I checked today, in Union County proper, the planning board in 2013 approved one subdivision in Union County proper that had 70 homes. So, if you say which one would you prefer, well, you want to grow the commercial and industrial, but you certainly can't ungrow the housing. There's that little thing about property rights, and those people who have paid that property and have paid the taxes on it, if the infrastructure's there, they have the right to build a house on it. And with talk about controls and that kind of thing, you might want to talk to your state legislators, because the county commissioner has very little control in terms of any kind of rules, regulations to limit growth.
As we mentioned earlier, the tax base right now for residential accounts for 86% approximately of the ad valorem taxes. That's not sustainable given the demand for services from residential, and we need to bring in commercial business. It's important. Growth is not a bad thing. Growth is coming to Union County. It's coming to counties all across the country right now. We've been in a downturn and a recession, and it's coming back. There's so much money that's been sitting on the sidelines for years that they're waiting to invest in these counties. And it's important that Union County take advantage of that. So when you look at the residential growth, it's coming, it's going to continue to come, but we also need to make sure that through cooperation with the municipalities, cooperation with businesses that exist here and businesses within the state, that we make Union County an attractive place for commercial businesses. We need to switch that split from an 86% residential to more of a 60-40. That's sustainable. That can sustain our schools, that can sustain our water and sewer and infrastructure, and provide for long-term growth. And that long-term growth is what's going to be key to the county. Agriculture is important, residential, commercial, it's all important. What we see right now, because of the lack of commercial, residential communities are coming in here, they live here, they go to dinner, they go across the county line to Mecklenburg County. People go shopping at the mall, they go across the county to Mecklenburg County. We need to find other reasons for the citizens of Union County to spend their money in Union County. And that's through the development of commercial growth, not to stifle residential, but to partner along with it so we have a better mix. Thank you.
You know, for a long time, we've all looked around and seen the businesses that have started up in our county, and those businesses are mostly what we call commercial. They're not industrial. We've got to push the industrial envelope, and we can do that by helping them get the incentives to come to our county. Because if the industrial people are here and able to develop in this county, then the commercial will follow it automatically. Thank you.
Just this past year, we went on a trip to Maryland, and we went to the Beretta factory. Beretta's a firearm manufacturer, if you don't know. And when we got there, I said, "You guys need to come to Union County." They were complaining about their governor being so gun and so unfriendly to their industry. And I said, "You guys need to come to Union County and build a plant there. We'd love to have you." They said, "Yeah, Rick Perry was here last week, and he was asking us the same thing." So I don't think I got Rick Perry's clap, but I still asked. It doesn't hurt to ask. And they're actually moving to Tennessee. Would love to have those here. But you know, in 2006, we had a vote on the sewer plant on Rocky River. And I voted to block that sewer plant because the residential growth that would have occurred to build that, to pay for that sewer plant would have been 40 to 60,000 homes. The commercial growth would have been very little up in that area. It's not a commercial area, it's a residential area. However, the town of Monroe, city of Monroe, they've not been in town for a long time, they're a nice city. The city of Monroe had sewer facilities and water and infrastructure facilities that just needed improvements and help to do that. Now, we have a big fund for water and sewer. And if we will work with Monroe and cooperate with Monroe, if we'd have done it back then that would have created those businesses where there are more commercial friendly there. There's not as many people moving into Monroe, or for example, like Weddington or Wesley Chapel, places like that, which are more residential and family homes, and that's the same thing with the Unionville area, the Fairview area. So, you know, we have to make wise decisions. Again, put on our cooperation hats and look at the city of Monroe and say, "Hey, look, we know you're a bunch of Democrats and we're a bunch of Republicans, but we can make a good decision together and we can work together." That's what it's going to take. We're going to go to these cities that don't want residential growth and say, "Hey, you know, your folks want commercial, let's go that way." And the only control you got as a county commissioner is sewer. That's it. And you know, that's the only way to control it. That's the only way to manage it.
So we're obviously residential heavy, that's quite obvious. And the question was, how do we fix that? And Stoney's right, we can't just go out and fix it, but we can certainly influence it getting fixed. I think our team has a good platform, and when I say our team, I am very individual-minded. I can speak for myself, but this is a campaign. And the fact of the matter is we're running for 3 open seats. The 2 that are in office, would love to work with them and make some decisions where it's all of us deciding to move forward. But our team has a strategy to move forward and bring this proportion more into more level playing field. The fact of the matter is our state legislators have recently told me that they were in meetings with Fortune 500 company executives who don't want anything to do with Union County. There is too much going on, and it is not inviting, and this is not where they want to bring their businesses and their people to. So we've got to figure out a way, maybe through either a comprehensive regional growth plan with the utilization of task forces with stakeholders, where we can bring groups together again. Once again, it's communication between the towns, an economic development committee that exists, the Board of Education, the Sheriff's Department, and we need to say, how are each of you impacting the growth, and what can you do, what can you bring to the table to help make this make it a level playing field? So we have some things that need to be worked on, but it's the municipalities that are handing out permits, not the county commissioners. So, thank you.
Okay, so make sure your pencils are sharp. Do we have the right mix? No. Which are we heavy in? Residential. And how do we fix it? We have a very diverse tax base in this county. And I think oftentimes there's a tendency to focus only on one side of this county for that tax base and growth. But we have an agricultural side of this county, to Mr. Simpson's point, third in the state. The economic development for each one of these areas and each one of these tax base and growths are unique as the area. We have already in place a Union County Monroe Economic Development Committee who's been very successful and has a lot of potential to even do more. We have an aeronautical industry in this county that can grow. We have opportunities where it makes sense to put and bring the commercial real estate, the people that are going to employ your family, your kids. I want my kids to stay here. But if there's nothing to keep them here, who's to blame? We have to work with each of the municipalities. How we got out of balance, each one was operating in its own silo. We can't do that. We've proven that doesn't work. We've outgrown our infrastructures. I will create a transparent and collaborative relationship with each one of them, with the board, to guide us in the right direction collectively for the general benefit, overall benefit of our county.
No, the mix is not sustainable, and yes, we need more industry. And I've talked here tonight about what I think is our #1 issue, our reputation, and I mentioned the need for some branding to attract business, and that's, I think we all know, that's not going to happen overnight. That's something that we need to work on over time. But while we're working on that, I think we also need to look at our processes, our permitting, because the harder it is for a company to come start up a business or to expand a business, the less likely they're going to be to do so. So I think that we need to develop an expedited process for certified projects that would get rid of some of the government red tape, a one-stop shopping, if you will, for permitting that brings the towns and the counties together on that to make it easier and less intrusive and less confusing for businesses that want to come here so that they know what to expect. It's the same every time, and it's a system that is friendly to businesses relocating here, starting up here, or growing here.